Across the cover of Barron's, the venerable financial weekly, and in the pages of the Wall Street Journal, the nation's premier financial daily, alternative facts ran rampant last week. According to Barron's, consumers are not opening their wallets. That's a total mischaracterization of the facts. Barron's sister publication, the Wall Street Journal, published a similarly confused portrayal of economic facts on June 2nd, reporting that wage growth has stalled. According to the Journal, no one is getting a raise. The Journal is just perpetuating a myth. Here are the facts. Barron's and the Wall Street Journal did not report using inflation-adjusted figures, which are shown here. Real, after-inflation data is what matters most in analyzing wage growth and consumer spending. At 3.2%, real consumer spending is just 0.3% short of the 3.5% after-inflation compound annual growth rate of the last economic expansion. Demographic trends are the likely reason for the 0.3% difference because aging baby boomers are spending less in retirement. It's hard to understand how Barron's overlooked the real data and the real story. And the Wall Street Journal report, portraying stagnant wages, ignored the real story shown here. After adjusting for inflation, average hourly earnings have been accelerating dramatically, hitting new highs. Real wage gains were indeed stagnant for 5 years after the Great Recession. Since 2014, however, real wages have soared. Wage stagnation is a fiction that the nation's financial press has not caught up with yet. Politicians and talking heads on TV continue to perpetuate the myth of stagnant wages, but don't fall for it. The reason why growth in real wages and real spending by consumers are important is that about 70% of economic growth comes from consumer activity. The stock market does not seem to be buying the alternative facts. Stock prices have been hitting new all-time highs for weeks. A 10 or 15% correction could come at any time, but a boom in the private sector of the U.S. economy, though hidden from plain sight, is underway. The private sector is growing at a real annual compounded rate of 3%. That's a lot faster than the 2.5% after-inflation annually compounded growth rate of the last expansion. The private sector accounts for 83% of economic activity in the U.S., making it much more influential than the growth in the government sector of the economy. The government accounts for the other 17% of U.S. economic activity, and government activity is shrinking. Declining government spending and consumption since the recession ended in early 2009 has been a drag on overall U.S. GDP growth. The decline in government activity is shaving the growth rate of the U.S. economy by 0.8%. That's masking the booming 3% real growth rate in the private sector. The data shows that average hourly earnings are accelerating. At 2.5%, May's 12-month growth in average hourly earnings accelerated faster than the 2.1% averaged in this 9-year expansion. As financial professionals, we are an authoritative source of facts about family financial management. We're a financial channel you can trust for news affecting your wealth over the long run. Subscribe to our email newsletter and make sure it's not going to your clutter or junk folder, or call us for help.